Welcome back to Note Lab Mode. I'm so excited for today.
Oh, yeah.
It's a deep dive into Dubai's tech scene,
Awesome.
and we're going to be using the Dubai Tech, the Road to 2033 report for this one.
Great report.
Yeah, before we really jump in, though, I
Okay.
do want to quickly introduce our sponsor for today.
Great.
It's cloutfit.ai.
How do you spell that?
That's CLOUTFIT.ai.
Okay.
They're a B2B fashion commerce platform that uses AI to boost user engagement and increase client revenue.
Sounds like they're really at the forefront of what's happening in Dubai.
Yeah, they are. And it's interesting because their success is kind of like a
A little microcosm.
microcosm of what's happening with Dubai's tech growth in general.
Definitely.
So the report highlights 5 key pillars that are driving this growth.
Yeah.
A supportive innovation ecosystem,
Okay.
active collaboration between corporations and startups,
Yeah.
a diverse pool of talent, abundant capital,
Okay.
and then importantly, access to those major growth markets.
5 pillars. So much to talk about.
I know, right? So let's start with the innovation ecosystem.
Okay.
The report mentions that Dubai is already ranked #1 globally for attracting foreign investment
Wow.
and #3 for global talent.
That's impressive.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, that really shows that they're serious about this, about becoming this global tech hub.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they're doing that's really key to their strategy is the D33 initiative,
Okay.
which aims to actually double their GDP by 2033.
Double.
Double.
That's incredibly ambitious.
It is.
So how are they planning to achieve that through innovation?
Well, they've created something called regulatory sandboxes.
Okay.
And I think one of the examples is Sandbox Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine a space where companies can test new technologies with government oversight before they actually launch them full scale.
Okay.
So it's a controlled environment where they can really kind of experiment and innovate
Right.
without the worry of like breaking any rules or regulations.
So it's like a real-world testing ground.
Yes.
For all of these, like, cutting-edge ideas.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very smart.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a pretty smart approach.
It is.
Does the report give any specific examples of companies that have actually benefited from these regulatory sandboxes?
It does.
Okay.
There's a company that was developing a drone delivery system.
Oh, wow.
So they were able to use the sandbox to actually test their technology in a real-world environment and work with the regulators to develop safety protocols and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And it allowed them to launch their service much faster.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like almost a win-win for both the company.
For
The
both.
companies get to innovate,
Yes.
and the government gets to ensure that the innovations are safe and, responsible and all
That's
that.
exactly.
But it's not just about these sandboxes, right?
No.
You mentioned this thing called RegLab.
Yes. Regular.
What's that all about?
That's another unique initiative
Okay.
where companies can work with regulators to actually shape the laws around emerging technologies. So instead of waiting for regulations to catch up, you know how that always happens, it takes forever.
Yeah.
They're trying to proactively shape that legal landscape so that it's better for tech development.
So it's like they're going above and beyond just creating this friendly environment. They're
Yeah.
actively partnering to
Yes.
shape the future.
Yes.
Very cool. And it's not limited to just the private sector, is it?
No, not at all.
Because the report mentions Dubai 10X.
Yes.
What is that?
So they're pushing their own government services and solutions 10 years ahead
Okay.
with this program.
Wow.
So they're really challenging the government entities to come up with these solutions that are,
10 times better.
10 times better than what they have now.
Wow.
Looking at disruptive innovations to make them a leader in transportation, healthcare, education.
That's really looking towards the future.
It is.
So it's not just about attracting tech companies to Dubai. It's about making Dubai itself.
A living laboratory.
Living laboratory. Okay, very interesting. And then what about AI? Because obviously AI is a huge part of all of this.
Huge.
The report projects that AI could contribute $96 billion to
96 billion.
the UAE economy by 2030.
That's a serious commitment.
It is, yeah.
It is, and it's not just focusing on AI,
No.
They're also exploring the metaverse,
Yep.
Web3, fintech, all kinds of things. Dubai wants to be at the forefront of emerging technologies.
Okay, so they've got the government support,
Yes.
the regulatory framework,
Mhm.
the focus on all these future industries.
Yeah.
But what about the companies themselves?
Right.
How are they collaborating, working together to drive innovation?
That brings us to pillar number 2,
Okay.
collaboration.
Okay.
And it seems this year has seen a real surge in these partnerships between large corporations and startups,
Mm-hmm.
often facilitated by the government.
Oh, interesting. Can you give us some specific examples?
Yeah, so for example, Google Cloud has partnered with Dubai AI Campus
Okay.
to provide mentorship and resources to startups.
That's great.
Then you have MasterCard
Okay.
setting up a global AI center in Dubai, and they're working with DET,
Okay.
the Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism, on a digital city initiative.
So these are like the tech giants.
Yes.
What about the other sectors?
Other sectors are getting involved as well.
Okay.
So for example, L'Oreal,
Okay.
they've launched a beauty tech challenge with Astrolabs, which is a startup hub in Dubai.
So it's not just like tech companies working with tech companies.
No.
It's across different sectors.
Yeah, it's cross-sector.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, driving that innovation.
But the report also mentions that, not all partnerships are successful.
Right, not all are created equal.
Yeah. Why do so many fail?
Well, the report, it cites this McKinsey study
Okay.
that found that less than 30% of startups were actually happy with the partnerships they had.
Wow. That's low.
That's really low.
It is.
So why?
Well, it seems that a lot of startups struggle to navigate the complexities of working with large corporations.
Right. The misaligned goals,
Yeah,
bureaucracy,
totally.
cultural differences.
Of course.
Yeah, all of that.
So it's not just about finding a partner. It's about finding the right partner
The right partner, yeah.
who aligns with your values and your goals.
Exactly.
Okay.
Strategic partner selection is what we need.
Yeah. Partnerships are valuable, but only if they're done right.
Right.
So let's talk about the people behind all these companies. Because Dubai is known for attracting, like, the top talent
Yes, global talent.
from all over the world.
It's that #1 ranking, for attracting talent.
Yeah.
And it's because of the friendly visa policies.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about these visa policies.
Okay, so they have a couple of different options for different needs.
Okay.
The Golden Visa
Right.
offers a 10-year residency for investors, entrepreneurs,
Oh.
people with specialized talents.
So if you are a talented tech professional,
Yeah.
you can essentially set up shop for a decade.
Or a decade.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And then they also have the virtual work visa,
Okay.
which allows people to live in Dubai while working remotely for a company that's based outside of the UAE.
So this is great for digital nomads.
Yeah, for digital nomads and remote workers.
Yeah, who want to experience everything Dubai has to offer.
Yeah, exact.
And isn't there a new visa for environmental leaders?
Yes, the Blue Visa.
Okay.
Yeah, it targets individuals who are making contributions to, sustainability,
Oh, wow.
environmental protection.
So they really are attracting talent from all these different sectors.
Yes.
Thinking about the future and the skills they need to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It is, but it's not all smooth sailing.
Oh.
They do still have a significant AI skills gap, despite their efforts to attract global talent.
So even with all of that, there's still not enough AI professionals.
Not enough, no.
That's surprising.
It is, but they're working to fix it,
Okay.
through various initiatives.
Like what?
Well, there's been a surge in AI courses on online platforms like Coursera.
Oh. Okay.
So that indicates a really strong interest in developing the skills locally.
Yeah.
And the government's also promoting those industry-academia partnerships to make sure that those educational programs are aligned with what the job market actually needs.
Okay, so they're really taking this multi-pronged approach, which is great to see.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the money.
All right.
Dubai has been making a lot of headlines
It has.
as a major hub for venture capital.
Yes. Touted as the world's fastest-growing VC ecosystem.
Wow. That's a big claim.
It is, but the numbers back it up.
Okay.
In 2024, 30% of all venture capital rounds that were raised in the Middle East and North Africa were in Dubai.
Wow.
And the combined value of Dubai's tech companies has doubled in just the last 5 years.
So what's driving this influx of capital?
Well, a lot of things. Dubai's stable political and economic environment,
Makes sense.
it's attractive to investors.
Yep.
And their focus on these innovations and future industries,
Of course.
that creates excitement.
So investors are seeing the potential for high returns.
Absolutely.
But where are they putting their money? What are the hot areas?
Well, fintech, enterprise SaaS, and transportation are all attracting a lot of attention.
Okay.
And that early stage investment is still very strong, which is great for startups.
Yeah.
But, we did talk about that challenge of securing later stage funding.
Right.
And that is still an issue.
Really?
Yeah, growth stage funding,
Yeah.
particularly Series C and later, is still a challenge.
Okay.
The report shows that only about 1.5% of funding rounds were at that stage.
So there's a funding gap for those companies.
Yeah, for the companies that are ready to scale up
Right.
significantly.
Right.
And this is something that Dubai needs to address
Yeah.
if they want to see that long-term growth
Right.
of their tech ecosystem.
But it's not all about traditional venture capital, is it?
Mm.
Because the report mentions other sources of funding that are becoming increasingly important.
Yes.
What are those?
Well, Dubai has seen this huge wave of wealth migration in recent years,
Okay.
with thousands of new millionaires moving to the city.
Wow.
So that's created some unique opportunities for founders to access capital
Right.
beyond the traditional VC routes,
Like what?
like family offices,
Yeah.
high net worth individuals,
Uh-huh.
even angel investors
Yeah.
are looking for startups to invest in.
So it's a more like diversified funding landscape.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good for startups.
It is. It gives them more options,
Right.
more flexibility.
Okay. So we've covered innovation, collaboration, talent, and capital.
Yes.
That brings us to our fifth and final pillar: access to growth markets.
All right.
The report mentions a very big number:
Okay.
$7.7 trillion.
That's a trillion with a T?
Trillion with a T. That's the combined GDP of all the BOSA countries.
Yeah, that's massive.
It's a massive opportunity for companies that are based in Dubai.
Absolutely.
The MASA region, which includes, the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia,
Yeah,
is one of the fastest growing economic blocks in the world.
it is.
And Dubai is strategically positioned to be this gateway to those markets, right?
They are. It's a bridge between East and West. They have the world's busiest airport
Yeah.
and just a very well-developed logistics infrastructure.
So it's incredibly easy for companies to connect with those customers and partners
Oh, yeah?
across the MASA region.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about logistics.
Right.
Dubai also has the cultural and linguistic ties
Right. Of
to a
course.
lot of these markets. So
Yeah.
many business leaders in Dubai are very familiar with,
The nuances.
the nuances of the region.
And business practices.
Yes, it's invaluable when you're trying to expand.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us some specific examples of the growth opportunities in the MASA region?
Sure. So sub-Saharan Africa is going through this digital boom right now.
Okay.
Mobile phone penetration and internet access is increasing very rapidly. Wow.
So that means there's a huge demand for digital services,
Yeah.
from e-commerce to fintech to healthcare to education.
I imagine there are also a lot of opportunities in countries like Pakistan and India, too.
There are.
Yeah.
The UAE has pledged billions of dollars in investments in Pakistan,
Okay.
and the CEPA trade agreement with India is opening up some possibilities.
I'm not familiar with CEPA.
It stands for Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement,
Okay.
and it's a free trade agreement between India and the UAE,
Okay.
and the aim is to reduce tariffs, promote investment, and just facilitate trade between the two countries.
So it's expected to boost trade significantly.
Yes, significantly.
Wow. Okay. So Dubai is not just a hub for the Middle East.
No.
It's a hub for this vast and growing economic region.
It is.
Wow.
And, for a company like Cloutfit.ai, which we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
which is focused on fashion tech,
Right?
this access to these growth markets,
Could be huge.
it could be huge. It's a
Yeah.
game changer. Yeah, they could really leverage Dubai's infrastructure and connections to expand and reach new customers.
Millions of new customers.
So to recap, Dubai is attracting foreign investment,
Mm.
nurturing talent,
Yeah.
facilitating collaboration, and providing access to both capital and these growth markets.
Pulling out all the stops.
It sounds like they're pulling out all the stops to become a global tech powerhouse.
They are, and it's working.
It's pretty inspiring to see this.
It is.
But I'm curious, are there any downsides to this?
That is a good question.
Is it all sunshine and rainbows?
Well, we'll get into that in part 2.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into Dubai's tech scene.
So in part 1, we talked about those 5 key pillars that make Dubai so attractive
Yes.
to tech founders and investors.
A lot of ground covered.
I know, but you know what I'm really curious about?
What's that?
Hearing from the people who are actually building businesses in Dubai.
Oh, on the ground?
Yeah. What is it really like?
Well, you're in luck. Because the report actually features interviews with several founders
Perfect.
who share their experiences and insights.
Let's hear what they have to say.
Okay. Who do you want to start with?
Who should we start with?
Let's start with Nadine Mesger,
Okay.
co-founder of Sarwa,
Okay.
which is an investment platform that's making waves in the region.
Yep.
She talks about how Dubai's startup mindset And the government's really proactive role in promoting entrepreneurship has been instrumental in their success.
Startup mindset. What does she mean by that?
Well, she describes it as an environment where people are really encouraged to think big,
Okay.
take risks, and embrace innovation.
That sounds really different than a lot of the more established tech hubs.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
But, it's not just about the mindset, right?
Right,
Because
right.
Sarwa is in the fintech space,
Oh, yeah.
which can be very heavily regulated.
It can.
So how has that impacted their business?
Yeah.
Well, she actually praises Dubai's approach to regulation. She specifically mentions the regulatory sandboxes that we talked about.
Of course.
And she calls it a conversational approach to lawmaking.
Oh, wow.
She says that regulators in Dubai are open to dialogue and they want to work with companies to find solutions that work for everybody.
So it's not adversarial.
Not at all.
It sounds like they're really working together.
Yeah, to create that win-win situation.
Yeah.
And she points out that Dubai is a city of early adopters.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it makes it an ideal testing ground for new ideas.
If you're developing new technology,
Yes.
you want to be in a market where people are going to, try it out.
Exactly.
Mm.
She also highlights the accessibility of capital in Dubai.
Oh.
She says that having access to VCs, angel investors, and even government funding initiatives all within close proximity has been huge for them.
So it's not just that the money is there.
Right.
It's easy to access it.
Yes, and it's all interconnected.
Okay, so we've got Nadine's perspective.
Yes.
Who else do we have?
Well, the report also includes Rasmus Ruth,
Okay.
who's the co-founder of Morantix.
Right.
And that's a Berlin-based venture capital firm that specializes in AI.
Okay, so we're getting a European perspective
Yeah.
on Dubai's tech scene.
Yes.
What are his impressions?
Well, he is impressed by Dubai's commitment to AI and digital transformation.
Okay.
He sees it as a place where, new ideas and startups can really experiment and flourish.
So they're attracting international companies and investors,
Yes.
as well as, obviously, the local talent.
Mm-hmm.
But why Dubai?
Good question.
There are other tech hubs around the world that are focusing on AI.
Right.
What makes them stand out?
He is drawn to the collaborative atmosphere.
Okay.
He mentions how corporations and startups are really working together, which he says gives the early stage companies validation and a potential boost.
So it's not just about the funding.
Yeah.
It's about that access to expertise and those networks.
Yeah. Networks, customers even.
And Rasmus believes that this collaborative spirit is actually fostering a faster pace of innovation
He does.
compared to other tech hubs.
Yes, he does.
That's really interesting.
It is.
So we've heard from a fintech founder and a European VC.
Yes.
Who else is on our list?
Well, let's hear from Chris Sheldrick,
Okay.
co-founder of What 3 Words.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
It's that system that divides the world into 3-meter squares
3-meter squares.
and gives each square a unique combination of 3 words.
Exactly. Very simple,
Yeah, but powerful.
but powerful.
Yeah.
And suddenly you can pinpoint any location accurately, even without a street address.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
So how are they applying this technology in Dubai?
Well, Chris talks about the booming logistics and e-commerce sectors in Dubai
Okay.
and how What 3 Words is making a real difference
Right.
in delivery, efficiency, and accuracy.
Okay.
He says they did this test with Aramex, which is a big logistics company in Dubai. And they found that using a What 3 Words address was 42% faster.
Wow, that's a big improvement
It is.
for those businesses that rely on those accurate deliveries.
Yes, but it's not just businesses.
Right.
Chris also talks about how residents are using it too.
Okay.
To direct deliveries to, like a side door or a hidden entrance.
Oh, to avoid all of those frustrating phone calls
Yes, exactly.
with the lost delivery drivers.
Yeah, no more of that.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, everybody can.
It's like a win-win.
It is a win-win.
Businesses get the efficiency and consumers get that smoother, more reliable experience.
You got it.
Okay, so we've got innovation in fintech,
Yes.
AI, and now location technology.
Yeah.
Dubai really is attracting all kinds of companies.
It is.
But what about the people behind those companies?
Okay.
We talked about, attracting the global talent,
Yeah.
but I want to hear from the founders who have actually built their teams in Dubai.
Right,
What are
right.
their experiences?
Well, the report includes Steve Puppo,
Okay.
founder of Parallel Wireless,
All right.
which is focused on 5G networks.
Okay.
And he specifically praises Dubai's talent ecosystem.
Okay.
And he points out that the city has actually become a regional hub for major mobile network operators.
So it's about creating that cluster of
Yes.
companies and expertise.
Yes, in specific industry.
Okay.
And that just creates a cycle, right?
Oh, cool.
As more companies set up shop,
Yeah.
they attract more talent,
Yeah.
and it strengthens the ecosystem.
It makes sense.
But it's not just about those technical skills.
Right.
Mona Ataya, founder of Mum's World,
Okay.
an e-commerce platform,
Yeah.
emphasizes this point,
Okay.
that it takes a diverse set of skills and perspectives to build a company.
Absolutely.
And she says that, Dubai's diverse and skilled workforce was really key
Mhm.
to Mum's World's success.
Okay.
They were able to build a team with, a range of skills and experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and they were able to adapt quickly to their customers' needs.
Yeah, they were able to leverage that talent pool
Yes.
to their advantage.
They did.
Okay.
And they also leveraged Dubai's connectivity and infrastructure
Right.
to expand across the region.
Okay.
Mona says that in just a few years,
Mm-hmm.
they were able to scale their operations
Wow.
and reach customers in over 20 countries.
That's incredible.
It is. It's impressive growth.
It really is.
It is. Speaking of global expansion,
Okay.
the report also has Alex Bouziz,
Okay.
who's the co-founder of Deal,
Okay.
a global HR platform.
Okay.
And he is really enthusiastic about Dubai's vision for what he calls borderless work,
Okay.
which aligns really well with Deal's mission.
Okay.
Deal helps companies hire and manage employees all over the world.
Right.
So Alex believes that Dubai is creating an environment that makes it easier for companies to embrace remote work and build these global teams.
So removing those barriers.
Yes.
Regardless of location.
Regardless of location.
Very cool.
And he praises the UAE's policies
Okay.
and digital initiatives.
Hmm.
He specifically mentions the D33 initiative.
Right. The one to double Dubai's GDP
Exactly.
by 2033.
Yes, and he sees Dubai as a perfect place for growth, not just for Deal,
Right.
but for companies of all sizes that want to have a global presence.
It sounds like he's really, bullish on Dubai.
He is.
Does he share any anecdotes about his experience?
He does.
Yeah.
He says he was able to get his visa in under 3 hours.
Oh,
Under 3 hours.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
I've heard these horror stories about visa processes
Oh, yeah.
in other countries.
Taking forever.
Yeah, taking months, even years sometimes.
Exactly.
So Dubai is really trying to make it easy
It seems like it.
for talent to come and contribute.
Yes.
So we've heard a lot of positive things
We have.
about Dubai's tech scene,
Yes.
but are there any challenges?
Well, there are.
Okay, like what?
Well, remember that AI skills gap that we mentioned?
Right, even with all those efforts to attract global talent.
Yes. Noor Al Hassan, founder of Tarjama, which is a leading Arabic language AI company,
Okay.
acknowledges this gap.
Okay.
She says it can be difficult to find qualified AI professionals,
Okay.
especially those with specialized skills,
Yeah.
like natural language processing.
So even for a company at the forefront
Yes,
of AI development, they're still facing that.
they are.
But is she optimistic about the future?
She is.
Okay.
She mentions that surge in AI courses online
Right.
and the government's push for partnerships to bridge the gap between what people are learning and the actual needs of the industry.
So they're not just relying on that imported talent.
No.
They're investing in developing local expertise as well.
Exactly.
That's great to hear.
It is. Now let's talk about capital.
Okay.
We know that Dubai is the fastest growing VC ecosystem in the world.
Right.
But what are the investors looking for?
Uh-huh.
What advice do they have
Yeah.
for founders? Well, Danny Farha
Okay.
from Biko Capital, which is a leading VC firm in the region,
Okay.
emphasizes the importance of building what he calls capital-efficient businesses,
Okay.
meaning businesses that can achieve significant growth without spending a ton of cash.
Right.
He believes founders in Dubai really need to be mindful of costs and build those sustainable businesses.
That's good advice for any startup, really.
It is.
Are there any specific industries that he's particularly interested in?
He mentions prop tech, construction tech, lending, and AI
Okay.
as sectors that are experiencing a lot of growth.
So finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
between market opportunity and technological innovation.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Sonia Weimuller
Yeah.
from VentureSoak agrees with this.
Okay.
She advises founders to do their due diligence
Yeah.
and really strategically approach investors who align with their vision and can provide more than just capital.
Right. So it's not just about taking any money that's offered. It's about finding those investors who are going to add value.
Yeah, more than just the money.
Okay.
It's about guidance,
Yeah.
mentorship, connections.
It's like having a partner in your corner
Yes, a partner.
to help you navigate all the challenges
All this
of
challenge.
building a business.
Exactly. Sonia also highlights Dubai's growing prominence as a global wealth magnet.
Yeah, which is attracting all of those high net worth individuals
Yes.
and family offices,
Right.
which is creating these opportunities for founders to access those alternative sources of funding.
It's a very diverse funding landscape.
So we've heard from the founders and investors,
Yeah.
but we haven't talked much about access to growth markets,
True.
which is supposed to be one of Dubai's key advantages.
Right.
Do any of the founders talk about their experiences with expanding into new markets from Dubai?
They do. Sachindev Duggal,
Okay.
founder of Builder.ai,
Okay.
an AI-powered software platform,
Okay.
talks about how Dubai has been essential for their global expansion.
Okay.
He sees it as a vital node.
In the global technology network.
So it's not just about targeting the local market.
No.
It's about using Dubai as a springboard to reach other markets.
Yes, a springboard.
Okay.
He says you don't have to have your entire operation there, but
Right.
having a presence,
A meaningful presence.
a meaningful presence can be crucial
to global
to
relevance.
global relevance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he points out Dubai's leadership and those business-friendly policies,
Right.
but he also emphasizes, the importance of commitment
Yeah.
and building long-term relationships.
So you can't just show up
No.
and expect things to happen.
No, you got to be present. You got to make connections.
You got to be part of the community,
Yes, part of the community.
not just doing business in it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there's Jad Antown,
Okay.
co-founder of Husby,
Okay.
which is revolutionizing the real estate and mortgage industry.
Okay.
His story is really interesting.
He points out Dubai's strategic position as a business hub for the Middle East and North Africa,
Okay.
which gives companies like Husby access to all these emerging markets.
So they're not just targeting Dubai
No.
or even the UAE.
No.
They've got their sights set on a much larger region.
They do, and they've already expanded into
Oh, wow.
Abu Dhabi and Madrid,
Okay.
and they're planning to enter other European markets.
So from Dubai to Abu Dhabi to Madrid,
Yeah,
that's quite a journey.
it is, and their rapid growth is a testament to their business model, of course.
Right.
But it also shows the opportunities
That Dubai presents
that Dubai presents.
with its location.
Yes, and its connectivity.
The leveraging the infrastructure and the network
Exactly.
to reach new markets,
They are.
but they're also leveraging that talent pool
Yes.
you mentioned
Jad says they've been able to attract top talent
from all over the world
from all over the world.
to their Dubai office.
Yeah, a global team in Dubai.
Okay, very cool.
Who else?
All right, and lastly,
Okay.
Abdullah Almoid,
Okay.
founder of Terabut,
Okay.
the leading open banking platform in the NEO region,
All right.
praises Dubai as well.
Okay.
The regulatory environment,
Mm-hmm.
the digital infrastructure,
Yeah.
and the strategic location.
It sounds like he's ticking all the boxes
He is.
that we've been discussing.
Yes.
Okay.
And he highlights the UAE's commitment to open finance and data sharing.
Open finance is a big trend
It is.
globally.
Yes.
Go okay.
And it's created a really fertile ground
Yeah,
for fintech innovation.
absolutely.
Abdullah emphasizes, though, understanding the local insights
Okay.
and partnering with those established firms.
Okay.
So it's not just about coming in with a great idea
Right.
and thinking you're going to disrupt everything.
Yeah.
You have to collaborate.
You have to collaborate
You have to.
and leverage that local expertise.
Yes, exactly.
So collaboration, again, is a recurring theme
It is.
in Dubai's tech success story.
It's not just about individual companies winning.
It's about building a thriving ecosystem where everyone can benefit.
So what does all of this mean?
Well, it's clear that Dubai is not just a place to do business.
Right.
It's a place to build a global business.
Yeah, these
Aren't just focused on the local market.
Right, they're thinking bigger,
Thinking much bigger.
regionally, globally.
Yeah.
They see that supportive ecosystem,
Yes.
the access to capital and talent,
Yes.
that location, that strategic location as a gateway.
But they also recognize that you have to adapt.
Yes.
You have to collaborate.
And build relationships.
Yes, build relationships.
These are essential for success
Essential.
in Dubai's tech scene.
Dubai's government is really doing a lot to attract investment,
Yeah.
nurture innovation.
And create that business-friendly environment.
Yeah, they're not just sitting back hoping for the best.
Wow.
They are shaping the future.
It's an exciting time to be a part of it all.
It is.
But we've been talking about all the positives.
Right.
Are there any downsides?
Oh, there are always downsides.
What are they?
Well, stay tuned for part 3 and we'll talk about it.
Welcome back to Note Lab mode.
We're finally here.
I know, part 3.
Yes.
So we have explored the 5 pillars that make Dubai so attractive
We have.
to founders and investors.
Mhm.
And we've heard those inspiring success stories.
Some amazing stories.
But as with any rapidly growing ecosystem, there are bound to be challenges.
Right.
Remember that funding gap
Yes, that funding gap.
that we talked about earlier?
For companies seeking Series C funding and beyond.
Yes.
Yes, a critical hurdle.
So what are the implications of this gap?
Well, for companies that are ready to scale rapidly,
Yeah.
they might have to look outside of Dubai
Oh, wow.
for later stage funding,
Okay.
which could mean relocating their headquarters.
Yeah.
Or giving up a larger portion of their equity.
That's a tough choice.
It is a tough choice.
Yeah.
Relocating can be disruptive.
Yeah.
Giving up more equity dilutes their ownership.
Right.
It's a balancing act.
It is.
But Dubai knows about this challenge.
Okay.
And they're trying to attract more late-stage investors.
That's good.
Yeah.
So at least they're aware of it and working on it.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
That's a good sign.
Are there any other challenges that the report highlights?
Well, one thing that's discussed is the need for greater diversity
Okay.
when it comes to founders, particularly women founders.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem in a lot of tech hubs.
It is,
But
unfortunately.
it's not just about fairness.
Right.
It's about having those different perspectives and ideas.
Absolutely. Tapping into a wider pool of talent.
Yeah.
The report does highlight some initiatives, though,
Okay. Like what?
like the Dubai Business Women Council
Okay.
and the She Trades Hub.
What are those trying to do?
Support women entrepreneurs.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, it's a start, but there's still a long way to go,
Right.
for sure.
What about competition?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, Dubai's getting a lot of attention,
it is.
but are there concerns about it being overcrowded?
It doesn't really address overcrowding specifically,
Okay.
but it does acknowledge the competition.
Right.
I mean, it's fierce.
Yeah.
It's not just local startups.
Right.
You've got established companies,
Mhm.
global giants.
Coming in.
Yeah, setting up shop.
So it's a double-edged sword.
It is.
It's exciting, but it's also,
It's a lot of competition.
yeah, exactly.
So startups really need to be focused.
Right.
And they need to differentiate themselves.
To be able to move quickly.
quickly
Yeah.
capitalize on those opportunities.
Absolutely.
But it's not all cutthroat.
Okay.
The report emphasizes that collaborative spirit
Right. We talked about that before.
that we talked about.
Yeah.
There's still opportunities to partner up,
Mm.
share knowledge,
Yeah.
mentorship.
That sense of community is really important.
It is.
So we've talked about the opportunities
Yes.
and challenges.
Yes.
But what about, the legal stuff
Right.
and the regulatory aspect?
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, we keep hearing that Dubai is business-friendly,
Yeah.
but are there any, potential pitfalls?
Well, it's easy to overlook those details when
Yeah.
you get caught up in the excitement.
Right.
But the report does address it.
Okay.
It includes a helpful checklist
Okay.
from Founders Law
Okay.
that highlights some key areas that founders need to pay attention to.
Like what?
Business licensing and registration,
Okay. Yeah, that's important.
very important. And they need to choose the right free zone
Okay.
for their needs.
Free zones, can you just explain what those are?
Sure, there are special economic zones in the UAE
Okay.
that offer tax benefits,
Okay.
business setup processes that are simplified,
Okay.
full foreign ownership rights.
So choosing the right free zone is a big decision.
It is.
Okay.
What else? Financial regulations,
Okay.
anti-money laundering,
Right.
combating the financing of terrorism.
Right.
Those regulations are strict.
Makes sense. I mean, Dubai is a global financial hub. They need to have those regulations in place.
To prevent financial crimes.
Right.
So founders need to make sure everything's compliant
From day one.
from day one.
Okay, what about intellectual property protection?
Dubai's laws are generally strong,
Okay.
but enforcement varies.
Okay.
So the report advises founders to register their trademarks, patents,
Right.
copyrights, all of that.
Protect their innovation.
Protect those innovations.
Okay.
And with data privacy,
Right.
Dubai has its own data protection law.
Okay.
And some free zones, like the DIFC,
Okay.
have even more strict rules, similar to GDPR in Europe.
Okay, so founders need to make sure they're compliant with all of that.
All of it.
And what about employment regulations?
Right, because they're attracting all this global talent.
Yeah.
Well, Dubai's laws are designed to protect both employers and employees.
Oh.
So you've got contracts,
Yeah.
wages, working hours, benefits,
Right.
and then, of course, sponsoring visas. For foreign employees is something that needs to be handled correctly.
So yeah, there are definitely legal and regulatory complexities that founders need to be aware of?
There are.
Seek professional advice.
Absolutely.
Now, besides all the legal stuff,
Yeah.
what other practical challenges are there?
One that's often mentioned is the cost of living.
Right, because Dubai is not cheap.
No, it's not.
Rent can be really expensive.
It can, so founders need to plan accordingly,
Absolutely. Factor that in.
especially in the early stages when
Right.
cash is tight.
Yeah, for sure. What about the cultural aspect?
Right, Dubai is a melting pot of cultures,
It is.
which is great, but founders need to be sensitive to the different customs and ways of doing business.
So it's about understanding those nuances and adapting.
Adapting is key.
And then, of course, there's always competition from other tech hubs.
Oh, yeah.
Not just within Dubai,
No.
but places like Abu Dhabi, Riyadh.
They're all investing in their tech ecosystems.
It's a race to the top.
It is.
So Dubai has to keep innovating and attracting talent and creating that supportive environment.
To stay ahead.
Yeah, to maintain that edge.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
Dubai's tech scene is definitely dynamic
It is.
and full of opportunity.
There are challenges.
There are.
Founders need to be aware of the funding gaps, the competition,
Right.
the legal and cultural nuances,
They need to be adaptable and resourceful.
resourceful and resilient.
Yeah.
But for those who are willing to put in the effort
Yes.
and navigate all the complexities, Dubai offers a really unique platform to build a truly global business.
Yeah, it's a place where innovation is celebrated
To celebrate.
and collaboration is encouraged and ambition is rewarded.
Dubai's tech scene is a story that's still being written,
It is.
and it'll be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive.
On Dubai's tech scene,
We hope you found it informative.
and insightful.
If you did find it useful, share it with someone who would love smarter fashion tech. Absolutely. And don't forget to subscribe to NoteLab Mode for more deep dives into the world of tech and innovation.
Until next time.
See you next time.